Hey everybody, welcome back to the Monkey D. Jones One Piece Chapter Review Corner, the only One Piece Chapter Review Corner on the internet that reviews each and every chapter as they come out. I don't know why, but for some reason, Oda decided to drop 3 chapters on us today, so I guess I'll just have to review all 3 of them right now. Again, I did not miss any weeks in between. These all came out at the same time, and naturally, I'm just going to talk about the ideas within them, kind of in a haphazard order. Don't expect these to be in order of release, because again, they all came out at the same time. But I do have a lot. In fact, I got a whole fucking page of notes of all sorts of ideas from all over the place. This will probably be pretty long, so sit back, relax, get your popcorn, and let's talk about some One Piece theories. So the biggest theory I have today actually has to do with King, which I think is a character I've basically never talked about other than me asserting that Zoro would skip King and go straight to fight Kaido. Looks like I was wrong about that one, but hey, who would count their own L's? How embarrassing would that be? But in the newest chapter, Marco makes a little comment to King saying, "Oh, hey, aren't you that race of fire-controlling people who used to live on the Red Line?" And just that one sentence got me going down a whole One Piece rabbit hole of theories and ideas and history that very well could blow your mind. It certainly blew my mind, and hopefully most of this information is not already popular public knowledge, because a lot of this I found out for the very first time, and I'm very excited to share it with all of you. So here's what we know. King is part of a race that is basically extinct at this point, and in fact a lot of characters are surprised that he is even alive, because again they thought he was extinct, and now we know that his race used to live on the Red Line, and we're gonna have to go into a lot of geography of the One Piece world to really understand what's going on here. So the easy assumption is that this race of people with, these big demon wings and fire powers, they lived on the Red Line, and then we can safely assume the world government kicked them off and most likely exterminated the vast majority of them at some point in history, and maybe King is the only one of his race left alive. But that got me thinking, because my theory, and a lot of people's theory I assume, is that the Red Line is artificial. In case you're somehow living under a rock, the Red Line is that strip of red, tall, mountainous land that goes all the way around the One Piece world. And the thought was that it was created during the Void Century by the world government as a means of divide and conquer. Because if you want to control the whole world, what better way than to literally divide the world into 2 pieces? And then I might be wrong about this, but I believe due to the Red Line, that fucked up the ocean currents, which is why the Calm Belt exists, which artificially created the Grand Line. So now the world is divided into 4 pieces, East Blue, West Blue, North, South. And if you're a normie, an average Joe in either or in any of these 4 quadrants, you cannot easily or possibly at all travel to a different one. It's very difficult to cross the Red Line. It's very difficult to cross the Grand Line, and it takes, a very powerful pirate crew, or I guess the Germa is kind of a pirate crew too. It's going to take a lot of technology and firepower and just raw strength to cross any of these artificial lines, which is how the world government, in my view, is, keeping their stranglehold on the world. The people cannot unite to fight against a government if they literally cannot travel to 3/4 of the world. So that's why I assumed the Red Line was artificially created by the world government just for that exact purpose, and eventually, Luffy is going to destroy the Red Line and at the same time destroy Fishman Island as he destroys it, since, Red Line's right above Fishman Island, and it's like, oh yeah, it's the dawn of the new world, baby, now the whole world is in one piece, we destroyed the Red Line. That's a very common theory that is most likely, I'm guessing 99% chance that's what's going to happen. But It turns out, maybe, just maybe, the world government as we know it did not artificially create the Red Line. I mean, how could they have if the king and his race of people were living on it? The world government can't really chase off a race of people who have been living on a structure that they themselves just built. Now you might be thinking, well, Mr. Jones, do you have any sources to back up that claim? That's a pretty big claim to say that the Red Line existed before the world government, but is also still artificial? Did not always exist in this One Piece world? Is there any way you can back up that claim, Mr. Monkey Man? Well, yes I can. You know how in our world, our timeline is basically separated into two parts? You got the BC and the AD. That's why we live in the year 2021, despite the fact that this planet has been here for, what, billions of fucking years? We just decided to start counting it in a certain way 2021 years ago. Well, it turns out the history of the One Piece world is exactly the same way. You might have missed this because it's kind of just gobbledygook. You know, unless you like really look at the wiki, you might not notice this in the story because it's just some stuff that Nico Robin reads off some poneglyphs back in like fucking Alabasta and Skypiea. So this shit happened fucking decades ago in the story, but it's more relevant now, I would say, than ever before. Much like how our world has the age of BC and the age of AD, the One Piece world has two ages as well, and I've got these in Japanese right here. There's the age of Tenriki and the age of Kaien-riki. Now you might be thinking, Mr. Jones, I don't speak Japanese, what the fuck does that mean? Well, the previous age, the BC of this world, was the age of Tenriki, which translates to the age of heaven. We don't really know a whole lot about the age of heaven, other than like the tree of Ohara was planted, 5,000 some odd years ago. But approximately 1,500 years ago, the age of heaven came to an end. Now, we don't know why it's called the Age of Heaven, I don't believe. But you've got to imagine, something pretty horrible must have happened in the grand scheme of the world that the Age of Heaven came to an end. They said, we no longer live in a heavenly age. We got something new going on. Some new confangled, horrible atrocity that has forever changed the world has occurred. The Age of Heaven is now officially over. We are now in the Age of Kaien-riki. Now you might be super confused. This seems like a non sequitur, right? What the fuck am I trying to say here? Well, Kaien-riki, translated into English, and if you don't know what this is, you're gonna love it, translates to the Age of the Sea Circle. The Age of the Sea Circle. Now what sea circle might that be in reference to? Could something, a big circle in the sea have appeared 1,500 years ago that was not originally there? Maybe something artificially was put there by someone or something. If the Red Line marks the beginning of the current age in One Piece 1,500 years ago, then King's race easily could have lived there for hundreds of years before the world government decided, you know what? This is the top of the world. Why don't we just build our big Mary Joa castle on top of it, and we will control the Red Line. Let's kick off these fucking demon-looking dudes who are living here. Exterminate all those motherfuckers. Oh, we missed a couple. Oh well. I guess 900 years from now, one of them will call himself king and join Kaido's crew. I mean, really, what else would the Age of the Sea Circle refer to? And why did if we're assuming it is the Red Line, why did the appearance of the Red Line end the Age of Heaven? Really makes you think. So basically what I'm arriving at today is that the red line was artificially created, but it wasn't created 900 years ago at the beginning of the Void Century. It was started 1500 years ago and started a brand new age, which means if the One Piece world is currently in the age of Kaien Reki or whatever the fuck, I don't remember the Japanese. If we're currently in the age of the Sea Circle, then when Luffy destroys the red line, he will quite literally be bringing on the dawn of a new age. Literally. It's, what if somebody came and did something so great that we said, fuck AD, we're starting the calendar over again. 3rd time's the charm, baby. I mean, I assume after like World War III, when all the countries drop nukes and there's like, 2% of the world population left, that would probably start the 3rd age of our world. And I believe Luffy, in destroying the red line, will start the 3rd age of the One Piece world. That's right. One piece of dialogue from Marco led me down that rabbit hole. And if we want to just get tinfoil, and everything I've said so far I think makes perfect sense, but now I'm just going to start making some real shit up. It very well could be that this race that King originates from, they got these big wings. Who else do we know that has wings? Well, the people of the Sky Islands. What if these fallen angel types, the King's race, maybe they just didn't belong? Perhaps they were evil. If you really pay attention to King, he's a pretty evil dude. He loves torture and like abusing children and just being as brutal as possible. Now, I don't want to go into any race realism here. I'm not going to, judge an entire group of people based on their one remaining, the one remaining person who did not get exterminated. But there's 2 options. Maybe his race is just naturally cruel and evil, and they lived up in the Sky Islands, and much like how the fishmen were cast out and rejected, much like Elliot Rodger, and said, you know what, fishmen, you fuckers live under the sea, you go to Fishman Island, we don't want to see your kind up here on shore, motherfuckers, you sick freaks. It could be that King's race, similarly, was cast out and rejected from the Sky Islands, 2,000 some odd years ago, and they said, get the fuck out of the Sky Islands, you go down to the surface, and then they just settled on the red line. So I guess it would have been 1,500 years ago. I mean, yeah, because then they settle on this, big structure it's not quite on the surface of the world. It's, really elevated, probably really hot up there, the way they like it, being a bunch of fire-breathing mongrels. Or maybe they were not an evil race, and they were just cast out because they look different, kind of just your typical racism story. And King just happens to be evil because his whole race was fucking exterminated. And, probably has been abused by the world government and shit. Kind of like, a Hody Jones. Like he's out for vengeance. He's very callous and just wants to watch the world burn, quite literally. But yeah, those are some ideas I got from that piece of dialogue. So let's move on to other ideas I got from all 3 of these new chapters. Oh, here's a big one. Momo becoming an adult. Will Shinobu use her power to age him up to be an adult? I guess there's 2 questions here. Will it happen in the story? And should it happen in the story? My answer to both is yes. As we know, I am on the boat that Momo will not get on the boat. I do not think Momo will join the crew. I think it is his responsibility to take his father's footsteps and do what his father could not, and be the shogun of Wano and, lead the land to prosperity. And a lot of the criticisms of this would be, well, it's not earned. What, he's going to go from 8 to 28 in the blink of an eye? So he's a full-grown adult with the mind of a child? Like, that's how ridiculous, people say. How unfair. He did not earn that power-up. But I view it in basically the exact opposite way. You guys see this as an unfair good thing, but I see it as an extremely unfair bad thing. It's a terrible, terrible sacrifice. Momo will literally be sacrificing his youth, sacrificing his childhood in order to save his country. What has the arc of Momo's character been? Why, for a full decade, did people fucking hate this character? Because he was an immature, bratty kid, little pervert, shoving his face into women's titties. He's clearly not the responsible leader that he needs to be. But now at this point in the story, he has to let all that go. No longer can he be that immature little kid. He literally has to sacrifice his childhood to stand up and be a leader. It's fucking tragic. It truly is, if you actually think about it. Instead of thinking about it in terms of fucking power levels and shit, think about it from a character point of view. This immature, snot-nosed, bratty kid who feels like he cannot step into his father's footsteps and be a leader and all that jazz, making the choice. Like, this is his character arc. He's making the choice to forego his childhood, and even though he feels like he's not brave enough, he's not ready, he has to become the hero that will help save his country. And I don't think it's a coincidence that all the characters who jumped 20 years into the future, I don't think they are going to be able to keep those stolen years. I think it's only natural that they either die, like in the case of the absolute Chad Kinemon, who I believe is not dead yet. He's not dead, even though we see him pretty much lying in a pool of his own blood in this last chapter. I do not believe he is dead yet. I'm still sticking by that, but he will be dead by the end of the arc. And Momo, those 20 years that he skipped ahead, I think they're about to be reinserted right back into his body. I think that the loop is going to close itself on that time travel, I really do. And Momo will have to sacrifice his childhood, age up, become a big-ass dragon, fly Luffy up. Maybe some shenanigans with using, Kaido's own power against him to create his own flame clouds to hold up Onigashima to protect the country. There's so many possibilities, but I'd say it's almost a certainty that Momo will age up, and this will be his big character arc defining moment. And I actually think it's great. And a lot of people have pointed out there's this character, Jewelry Bonnie, who has the power to change people's ages. She did it to herself and to Zoro and all these things. And they say, well, if they age up Momo now, she can just come in and age him back down. That is a possibility. I'm not going to write that out. There's a good chance it will happen. But I kind of think it defeats the purpose of Momo's sacrifice. Like, this is a major sacrifice to just lose 20 years of your life. And I would prefer if she did not age him back down, but yeah, I mean, Oda has let us down before. Fucking Pell makes an epic sacrifice. Oh no, he's still alive. So I'm sure Momo's sacrifice will be pointless too, but I'm really hoping it won't be. I don't know how I made it this long without discussing Nico, Robin, and Brook getting 2 full chapters of fights. Now obviously I'm a big Brook stan. He's one of my favorite characters. I just like everything about him. I like his backstory, everything about his aesthetic, everything about his personality. It fires on all cylinders for me personally. That's why of the 2 wanted posters I own, his is one of the 2. And while it might be disappointing that he did not get like a full 1v1 fight, I did enjoy him assisting Robin in all the, he makes like the big, treble clef or some fucking music note. Don't ask me, I'm not a music major. A lot of people are hoping that Brook will actually fight Apu, because, it's musician versus musician, and Brook is the ultimate counter, since Apu, you have to, hear his music notes for them to hurt you, and Brook, I don't even have to make the joke. Brook doesn't have ears. Yo ho 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 ho! So I like that idea. If Brook is going to end up with a 1v1 fight, Scratchman Apu would be great. I would also like to see fucking Usopp get a 1v1. How come my 2 favorite Straw Hats did not get a 1v1 in Onigashima yet? They fucking better. They probably won't, but I hope they do. And as for Nico Robin, I don't know if I've made this clear, but Nico Robin is best girl, and that's disgusting to say. Nico Robin is best woman. This is a woman, my friends. You fuckers, you can keep your Nami, you can keep your Boa Hancock. I don't want that fucking trash. Nico Robin is the best. If I had to choose a One Piece waifu, I mean, it's no fucking question. I feel like this character, in a lot of ways, was written for me to enjoy. In terms of One Piece, I mean, you could tell from the whole fucking opening of this video, I'm very interested in the history of the One Piece world and the Void Century and all that. And that is literally Nico Robin's purpose in the story. Her character motivation is that she is obsessed with the history of the world. So yeah, naturally, I'm gonna love this character and want her to succeed, because then I get what I want from the story. And also, Nico Robin has a, very dark sense of humor, unlike most of the other characters, which I also very much enjoy. So yeah, I mean, there's no question Nico Robin's the best, and I don't usually... I don't like to say that cartoon characters are hot, because it's not like I'm getting a fucking, bajoing over here for a fucking cartoon, but... I mean, she looks pretty hot. Let's just say the Nico Robin cosplayers look hot. There, that's how I can say that. But yeah, her fight was, fucking awesome. By far the best of the Tobi Roppo fights. I like that she embraces the thing that used to haunt her. She used to think she wasn't good enough because she was labeled as this demon child. Oh, nobody can ever love me. I'm the demon child. I'm always on the run. I don't fit in anywhere. But now that she's found a family in the Straw Hats, she doesn't need to run away from that past. She can literally embrace the demon inside in order to help her friends. Great! That's fucking awesome! And this big demon mode, we don't really know where that's coming from. Is that like an awakened form of her devil fruit, or is it Haki? My money is on, similarly to how Zoro, you can do Ashura and become a fucking 9-armed demon dude, man. I assume that's part of Haki, and I have to assume this demon mode of Nico Robin is in the same vein, some sort of Haki awakening, or I don't know. I assume they're similar. Let me know what you guys think is going on with Nico Robin's big crazy demon mode. But the brutality of that attack, when she's snapping Black Maria into pieces, it's just amazing. Best girl gets the best fight, what can I say? Now, a big complaint that a lot of people have, and I kind of halfway have, is that these Tobi Roppo fights have been underwhelming. The Tobi Roppo have seemingly been pushovers, and each one was defeated in 1 or 2 or 3 chapters. Which really, if you think back to Alabasta, all those 1v1 fights also only lasted 3 chapters each, I think exactly 3 chapters for each one. So at least it's consistent in that way, but I guess people are expecting more of a struggle at this point in the story, and I agree. I was disappointed at first too, but then I really started thinking a little bit about the Tobi Roppo and who they are and what they represent. And they were each a captain of their own crew, with their own dreams and ambitions. They were in the new world. They probably were all looking for the One Piece themselves, a big crew full of their own nakama and all that jazz. But these fucking pansies, these pushovers, got decimated by Kaido, and instead of going down with the ship like a good captain should, they turned the other cheek. They said, you know what, Kaido? You beat me. I'm gonna become your fucking slave. I'm gonna forget my dreams, forget my hopes. I have no will. You broke my will, Kaido. I will just do whatever you say. You're my god now. Now compare that to the Straw Hats. Luffy was announced dead 10 chapters ago, and they're still fucking fighting. Their captain, as far as they know, is literally dead from fighting Kaido. And they say, no, he's not dead. No, we're not giving up on our hope. We believe in him. We're gonna keep fighting. One Piece, the main source of power in One Piece is literally willpower. Isn't that the English definition of Haki? Willpower, determination? Think back to Luffy versus Katakuri. Katakuri is superior to Luffy in literally every conceivable way. Way bigger, way stronger, same devil fruit, but better. The only thing Luffy had that was better than Katakuri was his willpower. He refused to give up, refused to stop fighting, and eventually Katakuri's willpower fucking gave out, and he just collapsed on his back and said, fuck it, this guy's not gonna quit, his willpower is too strong, I'm done, you win, good job Straw Hat, you earned my respect. Willpower is a big thing in One Piece, whether you like it or not. You might think it's a cop-out. I think it's pretty cool, actually. And the fact of the matter is, these Tobi Roppo, they literally had their wills broken. They did not stand a fucking ghost of a chance against the Straw Hats. I'm sorry, it's true. These characters have no strong will. But that's why the real fight is yet to come. The Straw Hats were pretty much pushed to their limits to defeat these Tobi Roppo, but of course they won. But who has the raw strength and the raw determination, the raw willpower, the raw fucking hockey? Kaido! I believe that before Luffy gets to Kaido, all of the Straw Hats in their very weakened states are going to have to, much like in Thriller Bark when they were fighting giant zombie Luffy, all the Straw Hats are going to have to fight against Kaido 9v1. Maybe they're the 9 shadows predicted by Toki. I don't know. It could be. And I think Kaido's gonna fucking wreck shop. You want to see these characters have a real struggle? Kaido's going to fucking obliterate them. Most of them are already basically dead. Like, Chopper is this big now. Zoro took a medicine that will temporarily give him back his strength, but when that wears off, his pain is going to be doubled. He had all of his bones broken, and pretty soon, I'm guessing shortly after he helps Sanji, double team King and Queen, Zoro's gonna be fucking down for the count. His bones are going to be double broken. Like, the Straw Hats will be utterly fucked, completely decimated, and then of course Luffy will come in to save the day, to win the day. And since, the Tobi Roppo and the rest of the Beast Pirates, they're all a bunch of pansy-ass, cuck-ass bitches who just follow whoever is the strongest, well, it's safe to say once they see Luffy defeat Kaido, they will all become allies. I'm guessing all the Tobi Roppo will become part of the Grand Fleet, because they're like, oh, Luffy is stronger than Kaido? Okay, I guess I'll follow Luffy now. We just follow whoever is the strongest. So that's almost a guarantee. And this information about King has me thinking that King will also be an ally at the end of the story to fight the world government, to get revenge. Like, the world government hypothetically exterminated his people and kicked them off of their land, and I could imagine King has a bone to pick and will definitely become an ally. Those are about 1,000 theories all wrapped into one, but it's the way I'm seeing the story going right now. And my final note, not a big one, Pero Sparrow. Now, I like this character. I like when he beat the shit out of Carrot and said, yeah, go chew on some grass. You're not ready for this shit, you bunny bitch. But he said something in this newest chapter that I did not agree with. He says like, oh, Sanji, I'm gonna shoot you with this candy arrow. If only you would have just fucked my sister like you were supposed to, then it wouldn't have to be this way. Oh, you should have just got married to Pudding. Now, I've seen some people who think that Pero Sparrow has a point, and they're like, the Straw Hats, they invaded Whole Cake Island, so really, they have it coming. Pero Sparrow is in the right. What do you mean it's revenge for Pedro? Pedro invaded us and then blew himself up, guys. No. Guys, Big Mom kidnapped Sanji, and at the wedding, they were going to kill Sanji and his family. What the fuck is Sparrow talking about? Sanji couldn't have gotten married to Pudding. They were literally moments away from killing him at the wedding. Like, is this what he honestly believes? Is he fucking stupid? I love the character Sparrow. I like his design. I like his personality. I think he's really cool. But in this moment, what in the living fuck is he talking about? It was a trap. They were going to kill him. What do you mean you should have just married the sister? You were about to assassinate the man. So, fuck Sparrow. Fuck that shit. I hope Nekomamushi fucking rips him limb from limb. But yeah, that's all I got today. Oh, also, I agree with everybody else that Killer will cut off Hawkins' arm since Kid is missing an arm. And whatever Killer does to Hawkins will also happen to Kid. But Kid's missing an arm from when he fought Shanks. So Killer will, use his big brain. Like, how Killer was the one who was smart enough to put his hands over his ears to fight Apu? He'll probably also be smart enough to attack Hawkins' fucking arm, since Kid doesn't have an arm. I mean, everybody has already arrived at this conclusion. I don't need to repeat it. But yeah, those are all my thoughts for the last 3 chapters. This is probably my longest video yet. So I hope you stuck around, and I hope I made some good points. Let me know anything I said that you think is stupid, or anything I said that you think is smart. Let me know in the comments, and eventually I will be doing a video reading your comments and responding to them. So if you even have theories I did not bring up, you can post those too, and I will evaluate them at some point. Sorry that I have not been as active on this channel as I would like to be, but I'm hopefully going to pick up the pace and actually review each chapter as they come out. So, for Monkey D. Jones, One Piece chapter reviews and analysis. $170 days. They have a separate Patreon for this shit. And it's been almost half a fucking year.